good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from around the world. Welcome to today's conference. And a quick reminder, interpretation is available in three different languages: English, Chinese, and French. So please click the interpretation icon, which is the little globe symbol at the bottom of your Zoom screen, to select your preferred language. So my name is Dr. Olivier Mandu from Cameroon, and it's a great honor for me to welcome you to this official parallel event of the 2025 United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development under the theme Advancing Sustainable, Inclusive, Science and Evidence-Based Solution for the 2030 Agenda and its SDGs for leaving no one behind. Today, we unite as a global community, from United Nations leaders and policymakers to youth advocates, each playing a vital role in building a more inclusive future. Our lineup of speakers represent a rich diversity of regions and experiences, hailing from China, Malawi, the United Kingdoms, Egypt, China, Hong Kong, and the United States and Canada. So at this point in time, I would like to invite our last speaker for today, which is Louis Mao, the founder of How Nutrio, a student-led initiative that redefines nutrition as a cultural and psychological phenomenon, not just intake. He has conducted fieldwork in rural China, developed an AI-powered nutrition app, and co-authored a biomedical study published in PLOS ONE. He advocates for understanding nourishment as identity, bridging science with lived human experience. Please welcome Louis Mao.
The dorm room filled with the viscous stench of processed products and impure oil. Plastic containers are strewn across the desk, and the screw grows throughout the night. My roommate, who was once a top student, was barely holding himself together. He stayed up late playing video games, skipped meals, and slowly withdrew from the community around him. Assignments piled up, his energy dropped, and his diet narrowed to instant noodles and vending machine wrappers. It wasn't poverty that broke him down. It was something difficult to see. The difficulty was behind him, not visible to his material being. He wasn't starving in a traditional sense, but he was starving nonetheless. Not only physically, but mentally something else. I had seen something similar to this before, albeit a long time ago, and in a completely different context. I was conducting a field study on child malnutrition in an ethnic minority village in Liangshan, a remote mountainous region in southwest China. I studied over 250 children across 12 schools, collecting anthropomorphic data and measuring cognitive performance. And the results I found were alarming. 40% of the children were stunted in growth. 35% of children were underweight. The average Raven's nonverbal reasoning score for all children was 4.68 out of 10, which was 28% lower than rural Han Chinese children in the Shanxi province in China. There was also an extreme lack of dietary diversity. Only 15% of children ate a diverse diet, and the average fruit consumption per week was only once. Dairy, almost never. But however, there were surprisingly times when children weren't experiencing a lack of food. Some schools even served warm and balanced meals. But children primarily rejected these meals in favor of preserved meats, pickled vegetables, and snacks that were high in salt and low in micronutrients. Initially, this was confusing for me, but over time it made sense. The barrier that these children faced was not access to food. The barrier was taste memory, cultural rhythm, comfort in the familiar. This too, hunger, was not through unavailability. It was through conditioning. We all celebrate choice as a freedom, but most of our choices we make are echoes, either habit, exposure, or exposure because of habit. And at the same time in the city, I witnessed the same logic, not on a plate, but on the screen. My roommate had balanced meals, he had structures and support systems, But night after night, he would choose digital stimulation over sleep, quick entertainment over conversation, and pleasure from an algorithm instead of true and genuine rest. He wasn't skipping dinner because he was satiated. He was skipping dinner because nothing felt meaningful anymore. My roommate wasn't skipping dinner and he wasn't hungry for food. He was suffocated with distraction. And when I first started learning about nutrition, I thought about nutrition in terms of measurable inputs: carbs, fiber, protein, iron, etc. But standing in village kitchens and sitting in my school's dimly lit dorm rooms, I became aware that nutrition is about not only what is present, but what we have been conditioned to want. It's about conditioning our appetites, which is as much as a physiological process as it is biological. And whether we are feeding our bodies or feeding our minds, the patterns are eerily similar across continents. Scientific research has shown that dopamine overload from excessive digital stimulation is leading to a decrease in sensitivity to long term reward. The brain becomes addicted to instant gratification at the expense of focus, motivation, and executive function. Meanwhile, sleep disruption, which is very common among screen exposed youth, also leads to hormonal imbalance. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, goes up, while leptin, the satiety hormone, goes down, often resulting in overeating or poor dietary regulation. What we now know that we consume informs what we feel. However, more importantly, it informs what we crave and what we refuse. We tend to focus on visible hunger, famine, food insecurity, caloric intake, but there's another type of malnutrition that we are not aware of, one that fills us with nothingness. In Liangshan, it was children who rejected vegetables for cured pork and vegetables. In my dorm, it was a student rejecting sleep for streaming. What we consume, we normalize. What we normalize, we defend, and what we defend eventually defines us. The loss from the marriage of ultra processed food and ultra processed content is not only physical health, but also emotional resilience, cognitive flexibility, and long term well being. We stop seeking what pushes us, we seek what dampens us, and we begin to mistake abundance for nourishment. We are told to count what we consume, whether food or media, calories, clicks, hours, but nourishment is not measured by quantity, but by what we take with us. Nourishment isn't about fullness, nourishment is about what fills us. Nourishment builds us physically, emotionally, and intellectually. Nourishment ignites reflection, nourishment fosters resilience, and nourishment sharpens curiosity. That's the hunger we need to talk about. Not merely the hunger that empties our stomachs, but the hunger that dulls our minds, narrows our choices, and quietly deteriorates who we might become. Here, as a researcher, a peer, and a witness in the mountains of China and in my own community, I believe this generation deserves more than fast food or fast content. We deserve the capacity to crave what sustains us. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much, Louise. You redefined what it means to be nourished. So thank you for your remarks. And with that, we end our list of speakers. So thank you very much, all the speakers, all the participants, and global audience for being part of today's event.